Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stump back from the OPTC video, and in today's video we're taking the new ODEN, KINEMON, DENJIRO unit into some PvP, seeing how they rock, see how they roll. Over on the Free Spirit team, now this particular character has an insane passive for the Free Spirit team. Has a pretty decent special, especially when you go up against driven characters. They have the ability to give Forced Out. The downside to the character is it's not a 100% chance to do so. Free Spirit are kind of in this weird and wonky world where they like to play with RNG. They like to bank a lot on Luffy Gear 5, 6 plus hitting the right units, Nami and Karina going at the right time, and then Alvera Bizarro hitting the right units with Special Mind, half stats, and all that fun stuff as well. So, Free Spirit I find are just a much better defensive team on paper than they are actually as a offensive team, and I have been trialing out some different things with stuff like Yamato over Gear 5, 6 plus, who to replace basically on the team with ODEN, KINEMON, DENJIRO, taking off stuff like Sanji and Zoro and then bringing Roger Guan and stuff like that has been very, very challenging to find a nice balance while still maintaining an 8-man team. Free Spirit have been renowned for being a 6-man build because they have the two revives of Gear 5, 6 plus and Zoro, kind of making them more of a sort of 8-man build in that regard. However, revives nowadays, they don't really cut it with the amount of HP and power that some of these other characters have. And in today's video, we're going up against driven-based teams, trying to sort of showcase the forced out mechanic that ODEN, KINEMON, DENJIRO can do. The first team here is more of a powerhouse build. We do see Katakuri and Big Mom, very, very powerful PvP unit. So I thought, let's take them on with Blackbeard and then Kuzen and Shiryu and stuff like that too. So we'll see if we can get some forced out with the bench being quite strong too with Sandor and Wolf and Pizarro. Lucky for Free Spirit though, they do have Pizarro at that's the word I'm looking for. They have the availability of Pizarro, so that way you can actually build the 8-man team. Another very good 20 cost unit is the 5 plus Kuzen that came out for the PKA last season. Very, very powerful Free Spirit character. Also being a shooter means that we can kind of morph our bench into this very shooter-centric S-Bear, Raizo, Shinobu looking mutant of a thing. But ODEN, KINEMON, DENJIRO do have a super special, which makes them a little bit stronger, just like Roger, Guan. But their passive is basically just built up around Free Spirit characters. They target allies for level 10 attack. Sorry, their ability does attack, defense, HP up level 6. So just a very strong overall passive of level 6 across the board to pretty much all stats, which is awesome. They don't really do too much with speed and whatnot, but the attack buff, the defense buff, and the HP buff gives you a lot of bulk, gives you a lot of really nice stuff to work with there. Their special targets 3 Spirit allies for attack up level 7, targets 3 enemies for attack of 4 times damage, and then targets 3 driven enemies for a 50% chance to force out for 10 seconds. Now, this particular ability, Forced Out, is incredibly strong. When Luffy, the anniversary Gear 5 Luffy brought into effect, it was all the rage. It was just demolishing teams, and even still, like, it is still a very, very powerful ability. Driven characters pop up a lot. Whether or not you're fighting the driven-centric team or a powerhouse-centric team like you saw in the last fight, you're going to have driven characters scattered throughout, and even over here on like the int-based team, we have 2 driven characters in the front line with Blackbeard and S-Hawk. So you will find driven characters here and there, but the fact that it's only a 50% force out does hold ODEN, KINEMON, DENJIRO back a lot. If this was a 100% chance to force out, the character would be just like insane. Like, would be miles better. And it's kind of weird that we've kind of gone backwards from the 10.5 anniversary, sorry, the 10th anniversary to the 10.5 anniversary, with a 10th anniversary character having a 100% chance to force out for two characters, to then have a 50% chance for 3. For me, it doesn't make much sense. If it was 4 for 50%, I guess the maths. But otherwise, I just really don't see why in the 10th anniversary you bring out a character like the Int Gear 5 Luffy that can just do it for free, and then have this particular character who can't do it for free. It doesn't make much sense to me. And I guess like that's maybe their scaling of Super Sugos compared to anniversary characters. They might see Super Sugos as just being much more illustrious and much more valuable, but the fact that we are like, what, 6 months down the line now, you'd think that the characters would be getting stronger and not weaker. However, 50% chance is still a pretty good flip. A 50-50 chance can work in your favor, and as you guys saw there, we had the double forced out on both Blackbeard and S-Hawk. When this goes off, the team functions so much nicer. Force out mechanic just basically stops the enemy from doing so much. They lose so many passives, they lose so much bulk, they lose so much HP, they lose, basically all the passives go away, and you can just pick off the rest of the other, like you can pick off the other units fairly nicely. So if you're going up against like a more driven-centric team, you hit 3 characters with this forced out mechanic. The rest of the characters on the board, the 2 other characters, they're going to be sitting ducks. Like, they're going to be getting a lot of specials coming their way, and you can basically take them out pretty fast. They are on ODEN KINEMON Dinero on a 31-second cooldown, which does seem fairly high, but with Roger Gaban, you are getting a little bit of cooldown reduction. Nami Karina's obviously doing some rollbacks, and Pizarro is doing some fun stuff with Special Bind. So you will see this special pop off quite nicely. Remember, ODEN KINEMON Dendro do quite a bit of damage as well. They do 4 times their attack to 3 enemies. So they just sort of pick out 3 enemies and just do a 4 times attack buff, which is very, very strong. They can hit fairly hard, and Free Spirit definitely need that kind of firepower. Free Spirit lack a lot of damage output, especially with stuff like Gear 5, 6+ missing, and this 4 times damage can really make up for what Gear 5 is trying to do. Gear 5 6+ obviously has the ability to hit 5,000 damage across the board, and then just hit 1 unit that goes for defense. That one shot is really good, but if you whiff and only hit 1 unit with the 5,000 stats, the team does lack a lot of damage. Roger Gaban can hit fairly hard too, with the half stats ability and whatnot, and obviously if Pizarro goes first and Roger Gaban goes first, you have the opportunity to half stats or half defense the entire team. So this 4 times attack from ODEN KINEMON Dendro can actually hit fairly hard, and it's definitely needed for the team, and that's why I was kind of sort of sussing out Luffy Yamato. Definitely not a bad shout to use Luffy Yamato over 6+ Luffy, but 6+ Luffy's passive is just a little bit nicer for the Free Spirit team. The 100% revive is obviously like invaluable. It gives you that extra characters to sort of hang around. Plus, look, damage through defense just free is always nice, even if it only is hitting one particular character. So, as you can see, we do get ODEN KINEMON Dendro to go fairly quick. They stereotypically go 2nd or 3rd from this particular team. Ideally, you want Elvira, Bizarro, and Nami Karina to go first. That way you're halving the defense and you're reducing the defense before that 4 times attack comes in and hits fairly hard. This particular team is more of a powerhouse-centric based team, but both Kaido and King and Big Mom Katakuri are on the team, so I thought, hey, let's go in and we'll take on some driven-centric team builds. Plus Blackbeard was there too. So we had 3 driven characters sitting right in the front. We had the opportunity to force them out, but the 50% only came in clutch with 1 unit, so we only forced out 1 character. If you get the ODEN KINEMON Dendro to level break 5 though, they get an absolutely monstrous super special. Their super special is actually fairly strong. It buffs the forced out mechanic from 50% to 70%, and then they do a bit more damage with their super special. I believe it's a 4.5 times attack, and I think it's 8 attack, a level 8 attack buff. If you get it to level 5 though, so if you somehow manage to pull 10 copies of the unit, or you have a whole bunch of posters lying around and you want to get this character to max, there has been a lot of super special characters coming out recently. Obviously we've had Roger Gaban, Big Mom Katakuri, Kaido and King, now we have ODEN KINEMON Dendro, and then even Carrots and the Sulongs. So if you guys have so many posters lying around, or you decided to invest your posters into this particular character, you can get a much nicer super special. You get level 10 attack up, you target 3 enemies for level 5 damage, for 5 times damage, and then you target 3 enemies for 70% chance to force out. So the forced out works, man. Look, I'm telling you, this character is really good. Free Spirits work exceptionally well, but the problem is we are sort of funneling back into that RNG game and that RNG aspect. PvP is a game mode where you want to reduce the amount of RNG as much as possible and swing it in your favor. That's basically how the game mode works. So if you have 100% RNG, you want to reduce it to say 99% down to 1%, your RNG factor, 1% chance to lose because of that RNG. Where Free Spirit, they're kind of like, well, I have 80% RNG to win most of the time, but that 20% is still there, and it still shines through when you take on these bigger bopper teams. Obviously, Driven have had a massive rise in the meta with stuff like Kaido King, Big Mom Katakuri, versus Kaido, Blackbeard. Like, Driven teams and powerhouse teams have just sort of once again taken the mantle as the best team in the game, and having a character like ODEN KINEMON Dendro works great to actually take them down, but there are some holes with that being that 50% to 70%. The super special is actually quite hard to see. You have to get hit 3 times from specials. Now, Roger Gaban, they need to get hit twice, which is a huge difference. If you only get hit twice, like right there, Roger Gaban's ready to go. Like they are ready 25 seconds into the fight. ODEN KINEMON Dendro, they've been hit twice, but unfortunately, they have a tendency to go now, and now you have to wait for their whole special to come back around. Got fairly lucky there with the two forced out mechanic. And again, if you can force out characters like Cross Guild, you force out characters like Blackbeard, you are going to do stuff like this with a bunch of Relic of Barn, hit very, very hard and take out the other 3 units or 2 units, because like I said earlier, the force out mechanic really, really hinders the enemy's front line, and it allows you to just let the other characters be sitting ducks, which is just awesome. Defensive drops with Nami Karina, half stats with Avra Bizarra and Roger Relic of Barn, special bind shenaniganry, and then damage from Luffy and Odin Kinemon Denjiro with forced out. Makes Free Spirit a pretty strong build. So if you guys have been testing out Free Spirit, or you guys have been using Free Spirit at all, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, if you think there's a better build, because obviously we have characters like Brook with Yamato, Zoro, Sanji, the Super Sugos, so there are some other options that you can do with Free Spirit. And if you guys are running something different to what I'm running, let me know down below. But this particular team, I have been seeing a lot of like defensive builds. It's very good at timing out enemies, obviously with Nami Karina being so good with rollback, half stats, special binds, revive with Gear 5, and then forced out mechanic on the bench and action binding with Rise of Shinobu. So it can be a little bit annoying to go up against if you guys do see it as a defensive-based build. Be very, very careful, because it can output pretty good damage. It can go the length, and most of the time, you will see this Free Spirit team end up in the last 30 seconds of the fight. Like, most of the time. It's just how it goes, really. So that was pretty much all the driven-y sort of fights. The quick team's still really, really good, especially with Blackbeard, but I do find that this team actually has quite a good jump on it. I don't know how it goes against the more driven powerhouse-centric builds with stuff like Bizarro, Sanjuan, Wolf, Blackbeard, and then the new Kaido King and Big Mom Katakuri. I'm not exactly sold on this team being like a counter for it or anything like that. If you guys have some counter options, let me know down below. But there is one big thing I wanted to talk about with Odin Kinemon Denjiro, and that is when you come up against a character like Verse Kaido. Verse Kaido has the ability to be immune to force out mechanic, and that's where this character is going to struggle a lot in the future. As soon as more characters start getting immune to force out, we're just going to see this character fall off the cliff. Because if one of those shots in this particular fight target Kaido, it's just wasted. Even if it is 50% of 0 is just 0. Like, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And with this lineup, there's 4 driven characters in the front, and we are going to target 3 of them, which is great. You might be thinking, well, that's a really good array of characters that Odin Kinemon Denjiro can pick from. But again, if one of those characters is Verse Kaido, who is probably the strongest and hardest hitter on the team, you're just not going to do anything. So there you go. We tried to hit Kaido. It didn't work. We managed to hit Big Mom, which is great, but it didn't matter because we just wasted one of our shots. We could have hit Sanjuan Wolf. That could have been a 50% force out. Who knows? It could have worked on Kaido. But because Kaido was immune to that damage, it just means absolutely nothing. But upside, as I said, is Roger Ellie the Blind brings a lot of damage. Odin Kinemon Denjiro brings a lot of damage. So now Free Spirit are just in a better position to get a bit more kills under their belt. I do find that they still lack damage quite a lot. They don't have anyone that can sort of bypass defensive effects like S-Hawk or Strength Luffy, even though Gear 5 Luffy is having one shot that goes through defense, and you have the ability to halve defense, so you can do a lot of damage, but Free Spirit is still in this very wonky place of being more of a defensive-based build, built off RNG, and can get the job done in regular PvP. I feel like over in Grand Party, this team is going to work exceptionally well. I just think Free Spirit are going to be in such a really, really good spot, because fights going the distance and you surviving it's puts you in a really, really good spot. So I'm pretty keen to see how that goes once Grand Party starts today. Problem is we're going to lose Bizarro off this team. We're going to have to bring like Kuzen in the front and then build out more of a sort of 8-man team that way. Or we go back to funneling into a 6-man team. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, but like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Something to note too, by the way, didn't get the super special once in this video. I tried. I actually did get it against the Dex Powerhouse fight. So I think we'll just quickly dive over there. Yeah, nah, Odin Kinemon Denjiro just died. This fight's actually really hard, but as you can see, we managed to get it done with this particular team after like retrying a couple times. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, bell the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, if you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Lates!